Hello, you're at the Sunday Club, the Leeds house with me, James. Let's talk about it after this. Let's go. We shall. We've already got some comments in, so I'll just smash them on straight away. Jamie Miller, if you're watching, he's put this in. Because our clueless recruitment team didn't sign a decent striker, we had a choice early in the window to get Vardy or Mitrovic, but due to the club's fannying around, we ended up getting with DLC. Matt Leeds, am I the only one who's worried about Biel's position? And he always seems to lose his man. He did it for 2 goals. It might be harsh, but I think Stroy should come back in. Yeah, that's actually true. So, yeah, we'll just fire straight into it then. 3-0 yesterday against Brighton. Another game that we haven't scored at the Amex Stadium. Pretty disappointing performance, even I have to admit that. But the goals again were really poor goals we've conceded. Just men in the box on their own, which is something that really bothers me. So, I mean, that might come into a bit of Biel's positioning. Maybe still adapting. I'll give him a little bit of time. I know a lot of people don't think we've got a lot, but we ain't got a choice. Now you want Strike back in. I mean, you might have to fight some people for that because everyone's been wanting Biel in. Yeah, he isn't the fastest, is he? And you know that will get exposed in this league. It was not nice to watch him try and run back yesterday, but yeah, Kev is a bit of a letdown, isn't he, man? He only comes on when we win, so we'll probably be on about twice more this season. No, I don't think it'll be that bad. I think it was just a really abject poor performance from us yesterday. I think in games like yesterday, and I always talk about being being in the box count. And yesterday in both boxes we were shit. We'll say we were shit. When we're getting very little in games, we have to make them count. And there were a couple of opportunities yesterday. There weren't a lot, but there were a couple of really good opportunities for us to get a goal or even get a bloody shot on target. And it just didn't seem to happen. And then again, as I mentioned, we'll talk about the first goal. So Goodmanson's come out, hasn't he, with Minter. He's pulled out of position, and then the man's just running behind him, played it in. And then again, like there's four or five people around the man in the box, and it's just Danny Welbeck seems to be like getting better with age. But again, it's just there's no one on him, and it's the same for the other 2 goals. Messing around, silly mistakes, and we will be punished in this league. We almost have to be, because of us just coming up and our limited resources and our limited players. As we can see, there are some limits to them. They almost have to be faultless. And yesterday they were very at fault for a lot. This was Matt Leeds. It's more competition when you make a mistake. You come out like Stack did. Yeah, I mean, everyone was clamoring for Tanaka to come back in, and he's taking his time to get up to speed. I mean, let's not take it away. Brighton are a good team. They are a very good team, and the last 2 results probably didn't do them justice against Arsenal and Manchester United, or Scum as we like to call them. I thought they were quite good in them games. Not that I watched them, but just from what I've seen, they were pretty good. So I always expected yesterday to be a very, very difficult game for us. And like I said, we needed to be strong in both boxes, and we weren't. Stack. I mean, what would you have done yesterday? Because when I seen the lineup, I was quite happy. I thought, yeah, same team. Okafor seems to be our go-to sort of main threat. Did okay yesterday, but I think he's been sort of looked at as losing the ball and whatnot. But you know, we need to be breaking our back to get in a box. I mean, the one with Bogle when he's put the ball across as well. I mean, that's just, if you're gonna score a goal, if anyone's gonna score, if DRC is gonna score some goals, that they're the sort of chances he's gonna need to put in, because he ain't creating a lot himself, is he? It's just a really, really, really harsh lesson that we'll learn, and we'll learn many more this season. But I'm not overreacting to it, because we're doing better than a lot of people expected. Yes, it's worrying the where the goals are going to come from, but in other games we have created, and I like to think that if we keep doing that, eventually we'll get some rhythm, and we'll start getting some goals. And I think getting all the players back up and fit, and Dan James coming on again, getting Nonto, we seem to have a full healthy team, but we're still we're still gelling, we're still trying to get the best 11 out of us, and what that is going to be. I mean, Aronson again's coming for some shit after yesterday, but I don't think anyone come out of the game really with any sort of credit yesterday, apart from the keeper maybe. But even he's been shat on for his poor distribution. But I thought his distribution was quite good against West Ham. Sorry, I'm a bit rough today because me and Kev went out yesterday for Kev's birthday. That's probably why Kev's not in, because he's probably still unconscious somewhere. You know what I know, mate. Not 3-1, I know. Not my 5-0 either. I don't think that, no. Yeah, he's been injured since the last 6 games of last season, and it's gonna take some time. And when you're coming into a team in, was it poor form, just it's sort of up and down, isn't it? Really, at the moment. But I wouldn't take anything too much away from that game yesterday in terms of who we were playing, because I mean, I'm going to try and be positive, because I thought the first half, after the goal, I thought we sort of dominated the ball a bit, and maybe they let us. I'm not saying that they didn't, but we looked okay on the ball, and we started growing into it again. And I think that second goal just absolutely knocked the stuff on our base, because we weren't coming back from that. But Brighton are a good team, and they'll be up there. They'll beat a few teams this season, and we just can't look at these games as anything. We really can't. We have to just, they'll happen. They'll happen more. Especially when we get into December and we've got Man Cities and Liverpools, and we'll probably be on the end of some of these odds. But even that, if we just tighten up, just pick players up in the box. Like yesterday, you pick players up in the box and they don't score, because the rest of the chances were sort of speculative efforts from the edge of the area. I mean, I know Minter probably should have scored one that sort of went past the post, but when you're gifting teams, good teams, easy goals, you're making a rod for your own back, really. And when you're getting these small chances, and we have to sort of really, really look at the set pieces when we're getting them and take advantage. We've been pretty good, okay, with the set pieces this year, but even yesterday, none of them really come to anything. It's like we have to be very, very, very sort of like, when in both boxes, we need to be better. We need to be better. We can have the ball all day long, but if we're not doing what we need to be doing in the boxes, we're going to make it hard for ourselves. But again, I'm not going to take too much from that game. Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't mind I don't mind. Like obviously, I keep saying about DCL and what he brings to the team, but when he's getting isolated, he's not really. He's not. There's not a lot much more he can do if he's not getting the support. So I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Matchy getting a few games because maybe he brings something a little bit different. Maybe he has got the ability to sort of take the ball, take a player on. It's a different sort of player to even playing two up top maybe, but I'm not going to be one of these guys that says, "Oh, fuck, needs to change his fucking structure and he needs to change his positioning, and he needs to change his formations," because it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen in football often. When you find a manager starting to change his formations, change his structures, that's when panic sets in. And I think we've, as a team, in the past few seasons, I know it's been the Championship, we seem to come through adversity quite well. It might be a little bit harder in this league. I'm not denying that, especially with our limited sort of attacking players that we've got. But I still believe, and I agree with you, Matt. Like Okafor, I still think he's getting up to speed, and if we can just keep him fit, I think he'll prove to be a very, very, very good player for us. But we definitely need a couple more players in the winter window. We definitely need a bit more of a creative spark up there. You can have as much industry in the midfield as you want, but you just need that little bit of something else. You do. I do still think we'll be okay. I'm not going to panic just yet, and I know people are calling for facts head right now, but we all know that if it doesn't matter performance wise, if you lose a few games on the trot, you'll just get sacked, and that's how football works. It works. That's how it works nowadays. He will get sacked, but I'm not calling for that. I've still been very, very impressed at times with how we've dealt with playing in this league, and quite surprised as well. And then a lot. This is the thing that I don't understand. Where if you're writing us off at the start of the season as not being good enough, not having good enough players, not having a good enough manager. Now even the owners are being called into question. If you're thinking that at the start of the league, and then you come into this point, and we've won 3, lost 5, drew 2, it's not bad for a promoted team. But then you're expecting us to go to Brighton and dominate them and beat them quite convincingly. It's like, what? What do you even mean by that? I can't when people complain about the obvious subs and when he tries something different in moving arms and 10 and DJ on the right, people are mad. I know, mate. The thing is, you're never going to please people. You're not. You can't please everybody. And you know what it is? The thing is, I reckon the majority of fans can see what's happening, can understand the league, can understand that at the times we're gonna struggle as long as there's effort there. But it's just like the main whingers. There's probably a small minority of them, but they always have to say their piece, and that's fine. I mean, they can have their opinions, but like I said, it's not Football Manager. You can't just change managers and change formations and change structures and change plays just like that. Because if you're doing that every week, you'll never get anywhere and you'll never get any consistency. I did, mate. 5-0 I expected. No, I agree, mate. The performance weren't our sort of standard. I mean, I even think we were better against Burnley. I still stand by the fact that we were the better team against Burnley. They had 2 given goals to them, and we just couldn't seem to score past them. But it weren't a great performance yesterday. And again, it's like we could have played as bad as we did, but it's the mistakes to the goals. It's the very simple thing, and I'm gonna call Ampadu out because he keeps switching off when it's coming to players in the box, and he's the captain at the end of the day. So I'm gonna put it on his. I'm gonna put it on at his feet. There's been a few occasions where someone's run into the box past him or even near him, and we've just got to be more switched on than that. Way more switched than that. You can't have one player in the box and four Leeds players around him, and they're just getting an easy tap in. It just you like I said, you're making a rod for your own back, and every game you're gonna have to start coming from behind. These goals that we're giving away, they're shit. They're fucking shit. And that's what I was more mad about. I can accept that we're going to be not as good as some teams in certain games. Do you know what I mean? They've got better players all round, but I do think that if all of our players and our team and we're playing at our best, we can give anyone a game in this league, anyone a game. But we know that's not going to happen. It's not sustainable. This is where you get the caliber of player. This is where the better players can be consistently more and more and more. And you could probably find really good players in the championship, but it's the consistency that's the problem. This is where we'll find out. Yeah, I agree. I know. I agree. It was just comical stuff. That third goal, Bogle, what was he doing? What was he doing? Mental, mate. There was a poor performances all around, and I mean, again, I feel a bit sorry. I do feel a bit sorry for DCL because he doesn't get a lot of service, and he works his ass off, and you want to get good balls into the box. So I'll but he'll be called into question because his goal scoring is not great. But I do think we do need someone else up there. Yeah, he'll probably switch it around again next week, won't he? Longstaff or because I think I still think Tanaka's got something to offer in this team. He's with him on the board, I think he still needs to build up a little bit. Ampadu is probably my man I'd take out at the moment, if I'm being honest. Like, he started pretty good in this league. He started looking really comfortable, but it's them little switching off. I've noticed it a few times with him. It's just coming into the box. It's almost like he comes into the area and he's almost like, well, this is the defender's job now, even though he is technically a defender. But maybe this is where him being a midfielder is coming into question, because that little bit of nous about what you need to be doing as a defensive midfielder, following players in, taking control. Yeah, it's not good, man. All three of them goals yesterday were avoidable. I'm not saying we should have, won the game or anything, but the simplicity of their goals was hard to watch for me, because I can accept us losing games, and I know people talk about stats and performances as not being the important thing, but for me, it is an important thing, especially when you're coming up from the championship. You want to be putting in good performances, and I know that we're not going to win every league, every week, even though I predict we do. I know we're not going to win every week. This is a hard fucking league. There are good teams. Every team can turn you over quite convincingly if you let them. So we almost need to be faultless every game to get stuff out of, even the Wolves game. Look how easy they sort of scored from a mistake, and they're shit, and they're terrible. They're really bad. So we need to be absolutely faultless for 90 minutes of the game, and it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen when you come up from the championship. It's not gonna happen. As good as our players are and can adapt, they haven't all played in the Premiership for a long time. I mean, Ampadu's had a couple of seasons in there, but he got relegated. Dan James not really set the world alight. We haven't got anybody that's continuously played in this league, so it is an adapting thing. And unfortunately, some players and even some teams need time to really figure it out. But you just don't get that. You just don't get that in this league. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mate. It was very simplistic in the goals that we gave away yesterday. Like, you can have a bad performance going forward, but you need to be, if you know that you're not going to get a lot of joy going forward, the next best thing is you just be solid. And when you're giving away goals like that, you're just making it. You're making it really, really difficult for yourself, aren't you? Just easy, 4 players around, nice little pass in, tap. I'm sure was he a fullback that scored 2 goals? I don't really know too much about them, to be honest. But yeah, they were all very, very easy goals to concede. And you keep doing that, you ain't going to get very far. But I don't believe that's going to be the case. I mean, I think we will get most of our points. That the points that we get will be at home. We do seem to look a different sort of outfit at home. That's probably because of the fans. Nothing to do with Fark or the team. But like I said, I'm not gonna worry too much. I'm not gonna panic too much about what happened yesterday because I understand where we are. I understand the teams that we're playing against. I understand that we're gonna be beat. We're gonna be beaten sometimes. We're gonna be beat quite convincingly, but we just try and make it as difficult as possible. And yesterday we didn't. We made it pretty easy, and it sort of looked like a championship team yesterday playing against a Premiership team. I know it makes no difference, but I did get the stats and stuff up at the game, so I'll stick them on. This is the momentum. Let me just change my position so you can see me. So this was the momentum. So the first half, it looks pretty like we had a lot of the momentum, and I think we got better inroads into their goal, but we didn't really hit the target, so it makes no odds. But like I said, I was quite after they scored. I thought, okay, we're growing into this. We're sort of dominating the ball a little bit, and we know how we go. We know this is what we do. We try and keep the ball. We try and find spaces. And there was a couple of times when we did, but like I said, we need to take advantage of them. Even if you get one chance in a game, fucking hit the target at least, because you never know what's going to happen. But we don't do that enough in these sorts of games, and that's what really pisses me off about us. We don't do it enough. But then you can look in the second half; it's pretty damning, really. There, I don't know if the subs changed that or whatnot, but yeah, there's the momentum, guys. There's momentum. I'll quickly just get the stats up so I can stay in this corner. Stats are so. Look at this, the XG there. That's pretty much their 3 goals, isn't it? Right in front of the goal. Nice little tap in. Pretty much free XG, and that's 0.46. I don't know where that 0.6 is. Probably Longstaff's chance, weren't it? Yeah. Possession was okay. Goalkeeper saves. They made 2. I can't even remember him making 2 saves, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I know it makes no odds, but I like to have a little look at them. And this is the thing. I know people go on about stats and they don't win your games, but when you're playing in this league and performance and stats, they do matter. They do, because it's like you need to look at sort of what it is you're doing in games, what you can improve on, what went wrong. So I like to look at the stats. Even if we've lost the game, and I go, okay, there's something to be positive about, but results are the only thing that matter to some people, and that's fine. Let's have a look here. Can't believe I know. But they're still 4 points behind us. I'll get the league up in a little bit. Still 4 points behind us. I mean, we just have to go and beat Forest next week, won't we? I'm hoping we get a little bit of a reaction, because, like I said earlier, we've been quite good at that in the past. I know it's been the Championship. We've been quite good at sort of going through a bit of a bad spell, and we'll go through a lot of bad spells this league, I think. But it's just reacting to it, and hopefully we can go and make Dyche's start to his Forest tenure. Hopefully we can get him sacked so they get another manager in, because that was another prediction I made, that they were going to have about 70 managers this year. But this is the league we're in, guys, and this is what most people expected. A bit of a hard time. and it will be hard at times. But I think I still think we've got enough to to do okay. This maybe not the 8th that I predicted, but there's still time for that. Maybe we get some players in. Is there anybody that played okay for any of you guys? Because apart from Okafor, and like I say DCL didn't really get a lot. He had that sort of really weird outside of the boot shot. I can't remember him doing much else. Perry sort of making a few saves here and there, but I don't really want to give a man of the match to anybody for yesterday because it weren't very good. I'm going to give like the worst player. I'm going to give it to Ampadu because there's been a few goals that we've conceded where I've looked at him and thought you could have done a bit better there, mate. Come on. I praised him as well for like when we first come up and being the captain and sort of taking the lead and looking really controlled on the ball and sort of dictating the games and stuff. And he's actually okay on the ball. He's quite comfortable and he can find a pass. And he doesn't panic when he's on the ball. But it's them moments. And teams will get punished so much in this league if he doesn't switch on. So I'm going to give him my worst player of the match. I know it's a bit of a weird one, opposite from man of the match. Yeah, there's not. I mean, I think I wanted to come on. I weren't gonna because I watched it pretty pissed yesterday. I was pretty hanging when I was watching it, so I might have made some stuff up that happened because I was seeing double. But I wanted to come on and have a little chat about it and just sort of set people's mind at ease because I think there's a little bit of hysteria. There's always hysteria around Leeds. There's always like mass changes that needed to be made after a poor performance, and that's just not. This doesn't work like that, guys. It doesn't work like that. And I know like a lot of fans are talking about changing formations and structures and all this. Like he's got like a team of people working with him. Do you not think that they sit and talk about this stuff? Do you not think they go through meticulous sort of styles of play and how they're going to work it? This isn't, like I said, this isn't Football Manager where you can click a few buttons and make some changes. This is like high level shit. And for the majority of this season, I think he hasn't done bad. I think we've been competitive in pretty much all of the games, apart from the Arsenal game and yesterday. But even yesterday, as bad as we were, the goals were very, very avoidable. It's just switching off. So we could have battled out a draw yesterday if we'd have just had our fucking head switched on. Ampadu. The speed of Bielda's worry me, and I think we need to have a sprint between Strauch and Biol in the next inside training just to see who's quicker, and then we'll just go with who's quicker. No, it doesn't really matter, but I didn't like that Aronson was doing the post match and not the captain Ampadu after that performance. I know, but it shows the character of the lad, doesn't it? Probably our worst, but I would put that down as worse than the Arsenal game. I know we lost 5-0 against Arsenal, but Arsenal, it was the second game of the season. It was a new team, blah, blah, blah. Arsenal, very established, absolutely killing the league at the moment, aren't they? And it was but yesterday was a sort of different kettle of fish because I think there was a bit of an expectation that we're going to get something out of the game because of Brighton's sort of defence at the moment. But come on, we've just got to be realistic. Sometimes you're just going to get beat. Yeah, but maybe he's come off. He's been on a few times, and I don't know if they've got sort of like they take it in turns or they've got like a certain amount of. But maybe you're right. Maybe he comes on and maybe takes a bit of. I let them score 3 goals. Maybe he knew that and he didn't want to come on and speak. I don't know, mate. But I'm not worried. I am not worried. I know a lot of people are not. A lot of fans aren't. This is just normal. This is normal it's actually quite good for a promoted team. And I'll tell you what, if Sunderland weren't doing as well as they were doing, people wouldn't be worried so much. I think because because they're doing as well as they are, there's that comparison, and they bought a few players that we were after that they overspent on, and it's paying off for them. Don't get me wrong, but it's 10 games into a season. It's a long way to go. They've got a lot of players to lose in the AFCON. Maybe they get a good head start and that saves them, but I'm not worried at all. I think we've got enough to stay up, and if we don't, then we don't, and that's that's that. And then we can look at the end of the season, and we can then look at people and say, well, that's because this happened, and that's because you did this, and we had this player, and then we can complain. But it's 10 games into a season. We played against a good Brighton team. We've been thoroughly beat, but the goals that we conceded were very avoidable and just switching off. We need to do more attacking. We need to get more up there. And I don't know how we do that just yet. Maybe just start getting fucking good crosses into the biggest player in the world, to keep giving Okafor the ball, because I think he's our main creative sort of source at the moment. Get Dan James fit. His speed's going to be a massive outlet for us. Get Nonto fit. He can be dangerous in this league. We've seen him do it before. And then when we just get to the winter, sell Melier for £50 million. Nah, get rid of Melier because he looks like he's going to go. Get some attacking players in, and then we can go from there. But I'm not worried. We'll lose a few more games, guys. We'll lose a few more games, especially in this December, or we might surprise a few people. Who knows? I'll back us. I'll back us to win every game because I'm a fucking lunatic. But I'm just a supporter. I like to support my team as opposed to shitting on them all the time. And I do try and look for the positives in every game. Even yesterday, I was just, like I said, switching off, stopping them easy goals and being a bit more forceful up front, getting a few more chances on target. Like the Longstaff one, who do you want it to fall to? Longstaff. I mean, could have Aronson have even turned and got a shot off him himself, but maybe he made the right decision. I don't know. It's just these little moments like the Bogle one, and you think, oh, that's DCL's bread and butter. I know I'm reliving the game in my head now. I'm sort of having flashbacks of it. I think I made a lot of it up. But yeah, it's one of them. It's not to be sort of a game where we write off our season. It's not. We'll lose more games and we'll win a few more games. But 3 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws isn't shit for a promoted team. And we all know that it should be a little bit better. We should have a few more points. So just hold on to that. And we will get more points. Let's get the league up now. See where that leaves us. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I know that West Ham won, didn't they? So this is the league. I'll change me again. Put me down there. So this is it. 10 games. We're still, doing that point per game. We're still ahead of that by 1 point. Burnley on 10. West Ham on 7 now. Forest on 6. Wolves, I think Wolves are there. They're gone, aren't they? They're gone. I don't even think they've got enough to but they probably, I don't know, but it looks like they're gone. We'll count them as gone. I mean, I thought Fulham were going to get dragged into it, but they bloody played Wolves, so it's not to write them off too much either. And then we've got Everton and Sunderland tomorrow. Sunderland will probably beat them because they're on that. They had that run at the start of the season where they were playing teams not in their best, sort of like they played Villa at the right time, and now Villa are starting to do well. But that momentum counts. So you might get a few like games where if you'd have played them later in the season, you wouldn't get the points, but that momentum counts for something, and that might carry on through a little bit. So I'm expecting Sunderland to beat Everton tomorrow. But this is the Premier League. Who knows what's going to happen? But it's not terrible. 16th, yeah. 10 games in. 8th place is still there. It's only 5 points away. 6 points away. Yeah, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I mean, I ain't really got much more to say today, guys. It's it's going to be a short one because it wasn't much to talk about from a Leeds point of view in the game. There wasn't a lot of action. Obviously, there was no goals for us, not even any attempts, five shots all game, and 2 of them were on target, but I don't remember them being on target. So I think I'll leave it at that. If you guys could like and subscribe if you're not, if you're watching and you're not live, please put some comments on the video. I'll answer them. I'll speak to you. I'll always reply when I get a chance to. Yeah, and I'll leave it at that, guys. Thanks for joining in with me. It's been nice to talk to you. I'm just going to write it right now before I go. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys next week. See you in a bit.